Hello guys, welcome back. So Thorman here, this is the Daily Grind and this is Saint Seiya Tencent, and I missed the live transmission for the Jamir tournament today, but thankfully we get to see repeats. For some reason this one is not letting me access that, but we get to see this one that was won 3-2. That's the difference in semifinals. Unlike knockout stage where it's first to two, here it's first to three. So you gotta have at least 18 characters, 18 different characters minimum, so you get guaranteed 3 teams to play this. Same rules as before apply. Winner gets his winning composition removed from the pool, and you have to use from the rest of your roster. If you lose, you get to repeat your exact same setup for the next fight. So let's go in order. Let's go look at the replays just so you see what the top end players in the Chinese server are using. And I'm going to start the round on the tier list that has been making the rounds over at several places: Reddit, Facebook, WhatsApp groups, and stuff like that. I don't agree with that tier list in the list, and in fact I think that it's completely backwards. I mean no disrespect to the guys that came up with the list. I just can tell them that you cannot go in a game and come up with a tier list a month into the game before the big PvP tournament that is Jamir is out. If you follow this tier list, my beef with that list is that it recommends some characters that never got to see use in high-end PvP in the Chinese server from the beginning, and I'm talking about 2 months, 3 months in, when before everybody got what the game was about. The usual happened in both versions. People flocked to the popular characters, to the more famous characters, and tried to use them, but they soon started showing limitations in gameplay, and that's something that I want to address. The tier list begins with 2 fairly evident options: Ikki and Luna. This, that is hard to disagree with, because both characters have their uses and they are very, very meta, but because they have a lot of utility. That cannot be argued, cannot be discussed. Ikki and Luna enable a ton of compositions and make some rather slow characters more viable for gameplay. Like, for example, Milo depends completely, Scorpion Milo, sorry, depends completely on Luna to make use of his skill efficiently and effectively. Tauros Aldebaran, the Ice Warriors team also depends a lot on having a Luna equipped and stuff like that. Ikki, of course, gives extra energy during the starting rounds before the counter reach 8 energy for both teams. That is round 4, or well, the beginning of round 5. Everybody already has 8 energy, so that's the point where Ikki becomes redundant. But meanwhile, he can enable certain compositions to work from round 1. So I'm not going to discuss that. I'm going to discuss the characters that come immediately afterwards. And that's something that has been known for players on the Chinese server very early on. I'm at odds with the fact that Athena, Mu, and Shion are not listed as top players, top characters. The tier list grades the characters from, I think, 0 to 10, or more precisely from 5. 5 is the worst and 10 is the best. Neither Ikki nor Luna get a full 10. They are 9 point something. But any serious list would have listed Mu, Shion, Doko, Athena, Deathmask on the top echelon. A 10. I will put those 5 characters with a 10 grade. Because they are not one-trick ponies like Saga, Aiolos, or some of the damage dealers. Like for example, Shura, you can make Shura work on PvP if he's one of your only escorts. That's a given. Even the Ice Warriors can see some play, but their gameplay is very limited. Like if they go against an Arayashiki, they're probably not going to do anything. If they go against an Arayashiki with Athena on the same team, they're also probably not going to do much, and they're going to get obliterated. But that's beside the point. But let's see, let's start analyzing. Athena increases the stat resistance, the change in the status resistance of the whole team by a percentage. Passively, just from existing. Athena can very easily make your stat resist go over 100% if you build your characters right. She also can keep, for fairly cheap, because that's 1 energy, up to 2 characters from dying. That is, if they get catastrophic damage and they get killed, up to 2 characters can come back from the brink of death, and she's going to heal them for a percentage of her own HP plus healing. So you can bring back a character that is dead or effectively dead one shot to up to 30% HP for 1 energy passively. That marks Athena as the gal to kill because she cannot cast that on herself. And the other skill she has is for also 1 energy, she can remove several debuffs from a single character and increase his stat resistance even further. And somehow she ended up on the tier list with a grade of less than 8 or 8 points when she should be a solid 10. Have you ever tried to go against an Athena Jamir team where Jamir can just keep healing Athena and Athena is going to keep Jamir from dying? Oh, by the way, this match is a showcase for Evil Saga. Evil Saga is going to shut down this composition real hard. And I think the guy defending never saw it coming. Now, let's move on to Mu. Mu is going to do this. Mu is going to put barriers on and accumulate damage to use the Starlight Extinction. But he gets very, very few characters that can actually stop him before having a very, very big hit. Also, Aries Mu is a character that benefits tremendously from being teamed up with Athena until Evil Saga comes. And there are ways of dealing with Evil Saga. There's this other thing. So, potentially paired with Athena, Luna, and Ikki, Aries Mu can destroy an enemy composition by round 3 completely in 1 shot. And some compositions he can cripple completely from round 2. And he only gets like 8.2, 8.3. So that tells me that the guys that came up with that list don't really PvP much and just graded the characters on how they appeal to them. There is one. Then there is Shion, who has a 1-shot capability starting at level 70, but at level 80, Shion becomes a beast, and that's before 8 cents. After 8 cents lands, boy, are you going to be in for surprises with Shion. But that's one of the few characters that can potentially reach above 80,000 HP before getting the buff for PvP. So that gives him enough HP to one-shot whoever he likes on round 1, because he only uses 2 energy compared to 3 energy of Saga for an AoE or 4 energy for Aiolos, who is also going to make your team weaker when he uses the golden arrow. So maybe I'm exaggerating, and they are not solid 10s, they are certainly a solid 9.5, because also Mu protects the team from damage, and he can set up to 2 barriers on the same round, but he can set up, thanks to Luna, and if you had unlimited energy, he could put a barrier in front of everybody on the field. So he can protect the whole team, and attacking the barriers only feed power to the Starlight Extinction. So even if you manage to kill a character that is protected by a barrier, a very, very fat Mu is going to have 100,000 HP on PvP at the top end at level 80. So he's going to absorb a minimum of 22k damage for his Starlight Extinction. And it can go up to 38,000 HP for the barrier. So that's the amount of damage those barriers are going to eat up at level 80. That clearly tells me that these guys didn't play enough PvP, and they just went, oh, his AoE is very weak, and oh, the barriers are gimmicky. They are a gimmick. And didn't really analyze just the extent of brokenness that some characters have at the highest level and a skill level that is beyond 1. And beyond the friendly PvP, where you're not really trying to destroy the enemy player. But then there is Shion, that also has utility. He can only set up a barrier per round per team. So only one character can have the crystal wall that Shion casts. But here's the catch. Shion is also going to have over 80,000 HP. So that barrier, when it absorbs damage, heals for the same amount or the same value of shield that it gives. So an 80,000 HP Shion can set up a crystal wall on a single character for around 20,000 HP or 20,000 shield, give or take. Let's not be exact. Let's give it some wiggle. But that's a self-heal for 20,000 points of energy. So paired with Luna, you can start the round and give extra energy with Ikki, because Ikki is going to start with a Marsh Fairy, and probably you're going to set up Luna with Marsh Fairy to start with 2 extra energy, because that works, but only once. And you give you give extra energy with Ikki, and you give a double turn to Shion. Shion casts Crystal Wall on himself, because you want to also make your Shion very, very fat and very, very fast, as fastest as possible. The closest you can get to 400 speed is optimal. And cast Crystal Wall on himself, and then the Stardust Revolution, because the Stardust Revolution gets extra damage according to the amount of shield left on the Crystal Wall. So you can potentially use the same 4 energy that Aiolos uses to one-shot one character on the enemy team, and if they are chained with Luna, you're probably going to bring that team to half health or below with just 4 energy. Because the damage output Shion has heavily surpasses that of Aiolos. And if not, you are going to one-shot somebody for certain, for just 4 energy, without making your whole team weaker. And somehow Shion is also in between 7 and 8.5 on that tier list. If they are going to tell me that it is a work in progress, that it's depending on developments, well, tell you what, there's this thing, Senseiya Tencent exists, and we have been playing for a year. I personally, for almost 11 months, because I didn't catch this exactly at the official release and I didn't get to play the beta. But we have been seeing this develop. From the launch of Shion in December last year over to now August, almost September 2019, he's been out for a solid 8 months and a half. So everything that was going to be explored with characters has already been explored in the Chinese version. And when we told you, when some of the Chinese players, of the Chinese server players told you guys, oh, pull for Shion because Shion is super meta and you're going to build him like this and you just wait until 8 cents releases because he's going to be even better. We are not talking about out of our asses. We're talking from experience. So these two guys, who I believe are French or something, are pushing their tier list everywhere, and people are following this tier list. You're going to build your teams wrong. This is factual. This is not subjective. This is not, I think this character is better because of this. No, there are reasons why they are objectively meta. And if you don't see them every round over here at Jamir, that's because when you win with one of those characters, you cannot use that for the next round. And just let me show you. That's a Shun over there. That's an A card that these guys put like at 6 or 7 points of on their tier list. There's Athena here that they also put very low. There's also I think I already passed that, but one of these guys uses Misty. And this guy is using Milo because he cannot use anything else. And Milo just got a buff in the form of the cloth repair system, where his basic now strikes up to 3 characters, 3 different enemies, and puts the Scarlet Needle in them. So that reduces the defense of several characters at once. So Milo came back into the meta after that. But that's for whales only, and that's in the future. Currently, Milo is going to be maybe a solid 7. Because, yeah, he can one-shot several characters, but he won't be able to one-shot characters at top end after 8 cents. That's why Milo was dropped from the meta very early on. Because he simply doesn't have the output to kill a character with 90,000 HP in PvP after the bonus. He simply doesn't have that. And he is also tired very high, way higher than he should be. And just you wait, as soon as 8 cents hits the Awakening server, Milos are going to start disappearing because they just don't have the output. I mean, this thing grew organically. Like, they didn't stop using Milo because somebody told them, look, this is the last match, and you have Athena, you have Poseidon, yeah, but these guys have their Poseidon very well built. There's a Misty, and you are also going to see Misty never stopped being meta in the Chinese server, but now that Power of Gold Heal exists, Misty came back with a force, because now you can force the enemy to attack Misty without wasting his basic. If you're going to use his basic to taunt, that's because you want a particular character to not use his special skills. In this case, Pandora is taunted, so she cannot set up her passive full team AoE heal. But see, Shion and Shun in the winning team at the bottom. And Athena. That's 3 of the characters that I just described to you. Have you seen an Aiolos in this 5-match series? Have you seen, you sometimes see Dokos. Doko kind of drops from the meta, but it depends on how you build the team. But that's because way better characters came out. But do you see Sagas? Do you see Aiolos? Do you see Camus? Do you see Shuras? Do you see Pieces that for some reason these guys put above 8.5? Are you seeing any? No, because Pisces is terrible for energy management. And if you don't give Pisces 5 or 6 energy, he's useless. He's great for Legion bosses, he's great for PvE, he's great for starting PvP, I mean on the lower echelons where you can pull some shenanigans that are not viable at high game PvP. But you don't see Pisces here because nobody is going to spend a whole round leaving energy for a guy who does nothing. Instead, why not bring Shion, who for 2 energy is going to control that Misty for 2 rounds? In an Athena that is already keeping her team from dying. And of course you're going to see Hades and Poseidon because yes, they are meta. If you invest heavily into skills for Poseidon or Hades, yeah, they're overpowered, yes, but they need so many blue books that if you're a free player, for example, or you're not saving your blue books already, then Poseidon is a one-trick pony just like Saga. It's just a fancier Saga that gives bonuses, but that's the difference. When you use the tidal wave with Poseidon, he gives defense and attacking power to his whole team, but he's better used as a support tool, and you just spend the tidal wave when you're certain that you're going to kill at least 2 characters on the opposing team. So yeah, Poseidon is meta. Are people asking me, should I wait for Poseidon? Yes, definitely, but you're going to need a lot of blue books. Like, is he a good tool? Definitely. Super meta, super broken. But you need at least 18 blue books to make him viable. If you don't have at least 12 blue books, then you're going to have a lot of trouble because you could build, if you don't have that many blue books for upgrading his first 3 skills, then you can turn him into one-trick pony and just use the tidal wave for 3 energy. But then you're going to upgrade his passive to at least level 3 so he can store 6 upgrades like those you're seeing that after the tidal wave. The passive determines how many stacks of defense, stat heat up, stat resistance, cosmic defense, and attack power you're going to have with Poseidon. So yeah, you could build him for casual PvP into a one-trick pony, but you're going to have to slot some upgrades into his passive. And you're not going to level up his 8 cents fully until you have at least 1 other skill at level 2. So there is that. But none, and that's my point, none of the characters listed with the best grades on that tier list from those players, and I mean no disrespect, but they don't have the experience. They simply don't have the experience to call a tier list a month into this game. And it's not really a month because that's like a week after launch. This tier list was made public. And a lot of people started pushing that. I got into trouble in Reddit forums because I told them that list is wrong. That list doesn't reflect the future of the game and not even the present of the game, because Mu cannot be mid-tier with his skills. Athena cannot be mid-tier or just the bottom of the top. That's not how it works. That's not true. That's not real. And maybe they got carried away. Maybe they built a very big Saga in the beginning. Oh, Saga is super meta. Oh, because he can one shot an entire team. Yeah, but several characters can do that when the enemy team is very badly built, or you have a full rank and 10 levels advantage over the enemy. Yeah, that can happen. You can wipe teams with Doko too if you're lucky. That doesn't mean that Doko is a full 10. Doko is a solid 8.5 because he needs a couple of rounds to get going. Like if you don't get lucky with the assists and get four tiger spirits on the first round, on the first go of your team, then yeah, Doko is very limited. But he can come back. He can come back alone because he also accumulates tiger spirits if he is hit. So a combination of both things can give you a very good footing with Doko. You don't see him used much, or you didn't see him used in this particular Jamir tournament finals, because he's for energy. And that's basically half your energy allowance on late rounds, and in the very beginning, in the starting rounds of a fight, that's too much to invest in a single character. Like maybe you're going to see a Pope. Also the Pope is listed very, very low on their end, but the Pope is super meta. It just has that problem. It's for energy. You really have to choose your team right. And there's another thing, versatility. Like you can slot Mu, Shion, Athena, Deathmask, Cancer. Deathmask is also very meta in certain compositions, but he can be the comeback kid. Who else? Misty and guys like that. The guys I recommend to you are guys that you can slot in any team. And if, for example, you make a team with Athena, Mu, Shion, Shun, Ikki, and who else? And Deathmask, that's going to give nightmares to your opponents on PvP. Because it's a super defensive team. It's super fat. It's very difficult to one-shot these characters. And especially if you are really nasty and slot a Misty instead of one of them, Misty can really get going. By round 2, he can have up to 3 barriers set up. Or by third round, you're going to have your whole team set up with barriers, and he's going to negate AoE attacks completely. Like that's very, very hard to kill a Misty team efficiently. They tend to go for the long game. Misty forces the long game in PvP, and he's not listed anywhere in that tier list. Like I mean, anywhere that reflects the actual capabilities of the character. Misty is probably the best support toon that is not a healer. And healing is used very, very sparsely in PvP in the Chinese version, because really if you have to use a turn healing, something went wrong already. And that's a character movement that is going to spend energy, and it's not going to damage the enemy team. So that's wasted. There are a couple of valid strategies with healing, but they are situational and for certain characters. But yeah, that's my beef with that tier list. I wouldn't recommend anybody following what that tier list says, because it's patently wrong. Objectively wrong. Doesn't reflect the nature of the game, doesn't reflect the status of the game in Awakening right now, and it certainly doesn't reflect what the game will evolve into. Because we don't necessarily have to follow the Chinese meta game if we don't want to, but it's going to be very, very hard for people to not realize the advantages of having speed on every substat, on every cosmos. It's going to be very difficult to keep people from slotting resistance substats on every cosmos for every character. And maybe it will take a bit longer, just a little bit longer, for people to realize that all you really need with Mu and Shion is to make them as fat as possible. And I mean fat. I'm talking about a level 80 pre 8 cents. I have seen already a couple of these on the Awakening server from what's the name of this app? Sounds like discussion argument. Discord. On Discord, one of the guys that is also recently posting in the Facebook groups, Milo, I think he's Italian or something. I don't know, Milo. If you're watching this, can you please tell me where are you from? Because apparently that's one of his real last names, Milo. That's like my lion in English. Either him or Tofu Otaku already built a 50,000 HP Shion. That's before 8 cents. With 8 cents, that Shion is going to easily go above 80,000 HP points and will probably reach near 90,000 HP points with the PvP bonuses, and that before the PvP bonuses, and that means that it's going to have an almost 180,000 HP Shion. Now remember that he uses 30% of his HP to cast the Stardust Revolution. So if you take, let's not say 180,000, but let's just say 150,000, because it gives rounder numbers. He's going to sacrifice 50,000 HP to cast the Stardust Revolution that starts at 200% the damage of the HP sacrifice. So if he sacrifices 50,000 HP, that's double, that's 100,000 hit minus defense. Anybody is going to get one shot by that Shion. Anybody, doesn't matter who it is. Even another Shion that it's around 100,000 HP, or is going to bring an equally fatter Shion to half health, so his utility is going to be severely reduced for the remainder of the match. That's the numbers we're talking about. And the tier list very comfortably puts an 8 on Shion. That's not believable. Simply cannot be believed. Because the evidence, and also, those numbers are before this thing hits. This is also going to come because it's built into the game. It's not something that they are doing by region. The collector set is a series of missions from several aspects of the game, collecting skins, the number of times that you have asked for a wish on the Athena fountain at the beginning of every day, how many characters you have collected, how much money you have collected or you have bought from the guys. There's also a couple of achievements that are achieved, pardon me the redundancy, for whales, because they have to achieve the growth foundation status or stuff like that. And there are some for PvP when you reach certain leagues for the first time. You get stuff down here. For the Gold Saints and the Marinas, you have to comply with certain missions. Levels of friendship, number of skill points spent, and the stuff like that. With all these characters, they are all going to give you, also this is for the clothing system, this is new, But also from playing PvP, you have to defeat the floor number 10 of the ruins, the dimensional space, and the titans. The first time you clear the floor, the 10th floor, and then clear that floor without using escorts. You have to clear your Saint Legends, and the next prize for Saint Legends is having 5 tomes finished and finish the Shaka tome completely. Something for the Pope treasure, something for the hard story mode, for Legion bosses, for the coffers, for the shrine dimensional space, star life space, for the 8 cents and stuff like that. What all of these gives you is stats for all the characters. Like currently my physical guys get a 1010 plus 187 bonus to whatever they already have, and they get 6000 plus 1000, almost 1200 extra HP, and they get extra defense, they get extra speed, they get more life, cosmic attack, physical attack. That's for every character. The sum of all of these stats there, he says, for PvE they get the top end, for PvP they get the lower bonus. So it pays to do all of this. That's going to change the meta even further. And as the meta keeps evolving, those characters that are currently graded very, very generously on that tier list are going to keep sinking. There's also, I already did a video. I can already ask for my luck for today is bad luck, and I got 3 skin vouchers. Nice. And there's the final. I can bet on the final. So that's going to be tomorrow, I believe, between these two guys. Let me see if I catch that and I can record that on real time. So that's a guy from Q16 and Q32 for the Android realms, because there's realms for iOS and for Android. And even though you can Galaxy Duel in between the two, for Jamir they are separated. You get a champion for Android and you get a champion for iOS over at the Chinese server. The percentage listed is the amount of people that have bet on that side. So currently the odds are favoring the guy on the left side, the blue team. But I'm gonna go with red team. I'm gonna bet on him, and I'm gonna bet 1000 pieces that it's going to end 3-2. And let's see how it goes. I'm gonna see tomorrow. You better win, guy. I bet everything I had on you. And that's the very, very, very nicest thing that Jamir has, that it allows you to see, this is how I learned what I know. Even though I'm not near top 100 in the Chinese server, and I have never reached Diamond League in the Chinese server, because these guys spend heavily, and this server is no joke. And my server, my particular server, Q30, I think only has ever had one champion, and that was like 6 seasons ago. But this thing moves so much that nobody has repeated, no player has been champion twice in a year. We have had repeats from the same server. I think it's server 12 has gotten 2 champions, but that's 2 champions in a year. But never the same player. Never ever the same player. That's how tough Jamir tournament is in the Chinese server. Nothing else to add except telling you guys, don't follow that tier list that you're going to see. It's on Google Docs. and they pass that around like it's the Bible or something. But that's not the case. That's truly not the case. I wouldn't trust that tier list with anything. And well, if you don't want to trust my judgment, well, it's going to be self-evident very very soon. Once Poseidon hits the ground, uh, those crazy AOEs and things are not going to work anymore. Like if you're having success with Aiolos, that mostly means that your enemy doesn't have a very good team. Not to diminish their amount, but it's heavy energy. Those heavy energy like Aiolos that also make your team weaker and don't do anything for the team, even at max skill. Because if you want me to explain how Aiolos works, and I also talk from experience because he was my first level 82, and the first guy I maxed his 8 cents, even though he's not optimal. That still doesn't change that he does nothing for the team. This is how he works. His basic is basic strike, physical strike. Starts at 100% physical rating and ends up at 120% of his physical attack rating. Here's his big move, the golden arrow. The golden arrow does nasty damage. It starts at 420% of his physical attack rating, but here's the catch: it's going to also steal from up to 3 teammates 25% of what they have as their physical attack rating every time the arrow is used, and this debuff is permanent for the duration, cannot be cleansed. And at the top skill, it's a 500% physical attack rating damage that gets a bonus from 3 teammates. But here's the thing: Aiolos has crap resistance and has crap HP. So, and he's also not very fast. Even if you build him for speed, he's going to reach maybe 500 speed, and that's with double speed substat on maxed out on every Cosmos. That's the most you're going to get for Aiolos. If you put a speed substat on every Cosmos and maxed out at 16, that's 160 speed in all the Cosmos, because you get 10 slots. So double that, it's 320 plus his 200 and something. He can end up fast, but not that fast that he cannot be one shot by somebody else. And that's with perfect Cosmos. Supposing that you get 10 Cosmos with double speed substat. So that's his best case scenario. Has crap physical defense, has crap cosmic defense, has crap resistance, has low HP. He's very, very fragile. His 7th sense is this skill that if he gets killed, he gives back a percentage of the attacking power he took away, but he never gives back the whole thing until you max out this. So you gotta have this at level 5, so he can give back everything he borrowed. Then he gives back. That's 12 blue books that are going to be spent doing just this. And then his last skill is a percentage of attacking, of getting an extra turn every time he kills an enemy with either his basic or the golden arrow. And this maxes out at 90%, so it's not a dumb deal, and it starts at 70%. So it's kind of high, but not so high that it's guaranteed in either way. So you're going to spend maybe 2 energy, maybe 8 energy killing 2 people, and getting a shot at doing another one. What's going to keep uh, an opponent from just stunning Aiolos every round? Because he's 210 speed base. Let's go check Moses' basic speed. It's 312, exactly 100 speed faster. So unless something goes very, very wrong on Moses, he's always going to come first. And he can reach guaranteed stun with his Kato's atomic bomber. And let's go check Gekki speed. This is the one slower than Aiolos, but he gets to go faster and has even greater chances. I mean, you can build a Gekki faster than an Aiolos more easily because he's a B card. He's going to be higher level faster than an Aiolos, and his Cosmos are pretty cheap. You can work with just A grade Cosmos for these cards because what you really want with Gekki and Moses is substats. You can play these guys with A grade or S grade, and they're going to give you the utility because you want them to stun the enemy team. So you can run the two in tandem. Or, I don't know, you can even crash him with a Pegasus. He's 239, so he's faster too, and you can reduce Aiolos' defense even further. Or just be a munch and use Asterion to steal energy from the enemy team for the first couple of rounds to keep that Aiolos in check. That's why Aiolos never amounted to anything in the PvP meta. And the same goes for Pisces. Like, yeah, he's very, very dangerous if he's the last guy that goes on his team and has a ton of energy. He can potentially wipe out a whole team on the opposing side. But he's the slowest character in the game. Also has moderate HP. Is C graded, and also has crap physical defense. So yeah, when I've seen comments, oh well, yeah, one shots are his bane, but that's true for every character. But who do you think is going to get targeted first if you have Pisces and only Pisces on your PvP team, and you're using support with Rock equipped as the legendary just to feed him some energy? Who do you think is going to get the stun first? Because he also has crab resistances even with his 8 cents. I don't think any of his 8 cents give him a stat resist. No, none of his 8 cents give him a stat resist. He only get damage reduction. So yeah, no, not happening. What you see is just the starting stages of the meta before people fully realize this, that oh yeah, that guy is feeling an Aiolos along with the Pisces because he saw them rated high on the tier list. Never mind that if you use the golden arrow, you're gonna make Pisces weaker because he depends completely on physical attack, and he's not going to have enough energy to shotgun everybody on the opposing team. That's my beef with that tier list. That is not reflecting the nature of the game accurately. Plop. So, with that said, let's end the video here, let you chew on that for a little while, and not saying that I have the last word on characters. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing here because it works over at the Chinese server. Like other people are asking me, hey, do you know the release order so I can save stars for the characters? The pieces of garbage that Nebula Storm and Krisa or Krishna are, they have already been released, and thankfully in a double banner, so we don't have to worry about them anymore. You can pull safely from here onwards because the people that are coming out next are not in this particular order, but these are the people that are coming out next. Either we get another repeat week, but then the next character is going to be Poseidon, or has to be Poseidon, even though I don't think so because we are not yet up to story mode, story chapter 22, where the story for Poseidon ends. And in the Chinese server, Poseidon was released after the storyline was finished. So there is that. But GT Arcade is doing whatever they want, and they know for certain, trust me, that the second Poseidon hits the store, people are going to spend money on summoning stars. Now, Poseidon is broken, Poseidon is overpowered, Poseidon is very meta, and Poseidon is a very nice unit to have, but it's not indispensable. You can survive without Poseidon, so don't worry about him too much. More than necessary. If you pull him, great. I just got him a month and a half ago. So he's a new character for me. He's not I'm developing him because it's time, and as you can see later on, you can just build a character like nothing. That's not his build, by the way. That's just a placeholder while I get the cosmos that he has to have. But the next character will be Poseidon. After that, it's either Pandora or Radamantis, one of the two. Out of the two, Radamantis is only important if you are very, very far behind on damage for Legion bosses, because this is one of the best characters. All you need to build him for Legion bosses is just max out this passive as high as you can. If you can get him the 100%, because that that gives 100% chance of using the greatest caution. That's the name of the power. I'm not inventing stuff. The name of this technique is greatest caution. That's going to happen every round, so you don't have to spend your books somewhere else. So get that. I have that rank 2 at 70%. It shoots consistently, so I'm going to keep investing in this later. I might leave this at 85% because that looks like a good number, so I don't have to spend a lot. And I got this other passive. Meanwhile, that I'm kind of regretting, I should have done that for this to increase the damage, just so I can work on his 8 cents. But yeah, if you need people for the Legion bosses, Radamantis is nice to have. If you're more focused on PvP, then wait for Pandora. But of course, any of these characters is meta. Any of these characters are slotable in any team, pretty much any team, and they all need heavy investment. After Radamantis and Pandora come out, then it's Hades time. Hades is better than Poseidon because he doesn't need that many books to work. In fact, I got very, very lucky recently and got a dupe, so I increased his greatest eclipse. I'm not making this up, that's the name of the technique. He even shouts that when he uses the technique. Greatest eclipse, that's what he does. But you can make him work for casual PvP and maybe the lower ranks in Immortal League with just 4 blue books because you have to increase the greatest eclipse and maybe his basic, because his basic is awesome. Then that's pretty much the only two skills you need for Hades. The optimal build is, I think, 3 on the basic, level 3 on the greatest eclipse, and rank 3 on this passive, because that gives extra health to the shades that Poseidon revives. When he activates the greatest eclipse and one character on your team is killed, his soul remains lingering until his turn comes up again, and then he revives as a shade for Hades, with reduced HP and things like that, but he keeps all of his stats, and it's easier to set up, and they remain for 2 turns. They are not eternal. But yeah, when Hades comes, if you're going to choose for PvP to only have one, and you're going to save for somebody from the gods, save for Hades instead of Poseidon. I was lucky I got Hades on his banner, and he's pretty much broken from the get-go. For Poseidon needs level 2 on his first 3 skills, so that's 6 blue books to upgrade that. That's 6 blue books to upgrade his basic skills to level 2, so you get something more than the tidal wave. But Hades you can use right out of the package with all his skills at level 1 for casual PvP. Works wonders, does what he has to do, has access to all his skills. All you have to do is awaken his 7th sense, so he gets the contract. The one thing that when you use your basic, the enemy gets a mark, and then you can link to that mark, and they get the damage instead of Hades. But that's everything you need to make that work. Then after Hades, there's Divine Cloth Pegasus. And after Divine Cloth Pegasus, we got Evil Saga. Divine Pegasus is broken too, but you need like 28 blue books to make him work. Because just to be usable and reliable, you have to upgrade this skill, his main skill, to level 4, and you have to upgrade his first passive to level 4 too. So that's this is 2 books, 3 books is 5, another one is 6, 7, 14 blue books to make him viable. And to make him optimal, you also want to increase his second passive to at least level 3, so that's an additional 6 books. So 20 blue books just to make Divine Pegasus viable for high-end PvP. Before that, he's garbage. Even if you have him level 80 with all the perfect Cosmos equipped, if he is not 700 speed by that time and has all the skills listed at the amounts I've said, that's level 4 for his ultimate, level 4 for his first passive. If you don't have that, he's next to useless. So I'm still working on him, and that's getting dupes, because if you notice, I already have a chance to upgrade this to level 3. But instead, after Pegasus, you get Evil Saga, who I'm also working in. This guy completely negates all the other characters I've just listed, because they are high energy use, and Evil Saga punishes high energy usage, and he can one-shot almost any character in the game because he gets some massive bonuses to his strikes. But he's also heavy investment. He needs at least these 3 skills at level 3 before he is truly a force to be reckoned with. And you also have to upgrade his basic to at least level 2 or 3. So that's around 18 to 24 blue books just for Evil Saga. All of the characters after Pandora are heavy blue book investment. Thankfully, in the Chinese server, we are making now in between 5 to 10 blue books per month for free. So it's easier to keep up. In the past 2 months with the Chaos tournaments, I have been able to upgrade most of these. And after Evil Saga, there comes the other broken character that also needs heavy investment, godlike Ikki, Divine Cloth Ikki. But he also needs heavy investment. And as you can attest from my recent videos, I'm really pursuing that cheese team. So I'm saving my blue books to upgrade this to level 4. And that's around the point where this guy is viable, even though I really want to bring this to level 5. All of this has been done for free, and he's been out for a month and a half now. Yes, a month and a half since Divine Ikki came out, and I have been able to upgrade his skills for free. Sadly, no dupes on Divine Ikki. And I regret spending on this, but no skin off my nose. And I'm gonna keep working on this guy because yeah, he's broken, but you kind of have to have all of his skills leveled up before you can say he's truly broken, because he needs, when he starts out, he can only turn into the Phoenix once. And that's not enough, because some characters like Evil Saga can knock you out of the transforming state, and then you cannot turn into the Phoenix anymore. And his AoE is very crappy. At level 1, his Phoenix wings that soar into heaven, the Hoyok Tensho, ultimate Hoyok Tensho, is not very good. So this guy is not really for AoE strikes. Trust me, I've tried to build him for that, but he's not going to do a lot of damage with his starting AoE. His real strength lies in the fact that it's only 2 energy, and if you transform him into the God Phoenix, you can stay like that around forever, and you're going to have a surplus of energy starting on round 2. That is very hard to beat. Like, as you have seen, my June is equipped with a Marsh Fairy, and that 3 energy at the start of the fight is all you need to get the cheese team going. So, sorry for making this long video, but I just wanted to showcase several things on the same, so you can see what's coming out. All of these characters, all of the characters coming now onwards, it's Poseidon. After Poseidon, all of the characters are worthy of your pools. All of these characters are meta, even if they need a lot of investment to really reach their sweet spot. You cannot go wrong. I stopped using Divine Pegasus because Phoenix is cheaper. Divine Pegasus is 3 energy to start, and God Phoenix is 2 energy to start, and he lasts for longer. It's easier to keep him going. Divine Pegasus is, if you cannot kill 3 guys on the starting go with your 4 free attacks after you use your ultimate, even if it's only going to stand down doing nothing for 1 round, that's enough of a window of opportunity for the enemy to counter-strike. Meanwhile, Divine Ikki just keeps pressuring with no end in sight. And that's why, that doesn't mean that I'm not going to work on my Divine Pegasus, because obviously they are not going to go on the same team. And I'm preparing for the upcoming, and I mean upcoming, all the future Jamir tournaments. And this is something I have liked about this game. The meta is shifting, and it really requires you to have different teams for different purposes, and it pays the investment off. Taking the percentage of characters available versus characters you actually use, there are around 24 characters that are really, really useful for PvP meta, and the rest are useful for PvE. And you need to have teams viable for both game modes in this game. This is not like any other game where you can just build a single team and with that you clear everything. No, that's one of the reasons I value this game very, very highly. And just like that, for example, Divine Ikki just brought from the brink of death, because this guy hadn't been in the meta forever, ever since the Ice Warriors died, and now he's back. And since I built him a long time ago, I immediately have a team for him. The guys that I had to keep working on because I didn't like, Jamir. Jamir has always been meta, but he was dropped for a little while because Pandora can clear debuffs while also has a team-wide heal. But Jamir came back with Golden Ikki, with a force. Like, they are best friends forever, Jamir and Godlike Ikki, because Jamir can give the God Phoenix his full health bar in one go for free. And that's all that other guy needs. And there are many viable characters. Like many people are skipping Seahorse Bion, but he's very cheap for a ton of damage once you finish building him. It's a single energy, cannot one-shot certain characters, but you can use him to debuff for free. And for PvE, he's wonderful. But many characters. People are discovering Clothless Shiryu, Ultimate Dragon form. Is also very, very useful to punish Kiki abusers. This guy is tremendous in the right hands. Another guy that I'm developing because he's also very meta and very useful is Perseus Algol. Well, that's everything for this video. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for staying for my long videos. I have had several people asking for longer videos with better explanations, so I'm gonna try this format again in the future. But if not, the rest are going to be shorter PvP videos and showcases. There are many showcases coming on, and for example, even if it's not the banner for the next week, because currently there's Shion and Doko, I'm going to do the showcase for Poseidon during this week before the next maintenance, just so you know what to expect of him. So again, thank you all guys for watching. Remember to subscribe to the channel, click on the little bell so you get a notification for when I upload new material. This is going to be the last long video in a while, but I just wanted to really talk about that tier list, just so you guys don't waste your starting resources, because later on you are going to be able to build a character to level 80 in a week without spending money, but that's in the very long term, like maybe in another month and a half after 8 cents is released, because 8 cents give some character experience, and you're going to have to work on that. Right now there's coffers, but coffers is just money. That's why I didn't make a video for that. Doesn't matter if it's hard or not. Coffers is just for money, and you really are not going to get anything out of that game mode. I very rarely play that. Like, I was without any gold coin like 2 days ago, and now I'm almost to 7 million by just doing my Legion commissions. So yeah, when you get to higher levels, if you want money and experience, you know what you have to do. You have to come here to the Athena trial and get to the highest floor you can. I haven't done mine, so I'm going to start while I close the video. This is your best source of experience. Cosmos if you are low level. Right now I'm splitting anything that is not double S grade. And also do your bounties. Try to get your bounties to challenge level and clear them at least once, so you can then do that fast and get also a lot of experience points and a lot of gold. This is how you make experience points really for your characters. Not grinding the ruins unless it's an event mission. You shouldn't be touching the ruins at all after level 40, because you come here, you get 500,000 or more. I'm floor 30 something in the Awakening version, and I get more than 500,000 points of experience just from the Athena trials. And here, the Chinese version, I'm doing this very slow because I didn't have the teams to keep going up. But if you reach floors level 60, 70, the floors now go up to 150 in the Chinese version. But you can stay, let's say, 60, 70 if your account is level 50 or above, or you can go once your account is 60 and up to 70, because they upgraded the maximum level for the player accounts. That means that you have 2 teams of level 80 characters with full 8 sense and perfect cosmos, so you can tackle this. And if you stay at around floor level 80 or 90, if you don't mind for completion, you're going to get around 1 million experience points for free every day for doing nothing. Plus your legion commissions, that's depending on your legion. Search for a legion that is upgrading constantly. My own is not of hardcore players in the Awakening version, because it's a Latin players legion, and they don't really play hardcore. We are only like 10 guys that are really working on our teams, and we are up to level 6 now. But 2 months in, the legion should be around level 8. So you get access. What that gives you is that the legion commissions pay better, and you get access to better legion commissions. And your account level, what it does is it gives you better dailies. I've seen some people say, oh, I don't do the dailies when they are very expensive, like they ask for 90 stamina. You know what? You're crazy. You have to finish your dailies every day, because they give you skin tickets, and the higher level you are, the better pays they are going to be. Currently in the Chinese version, I get 500,000 experience points for the characters just from doing the dailies. So if you're adding everything up, you see that I'm getting like 3-4 million experience points per day on the Chinese server. So gathering the 25 something million experience points that it takes to maximize the characters. I don't have several of my characters level 80 in the Chinese version, because I don't have rebirth books, because I run out of the damn things, and I have to wait until I have summoning normal summons for getting C cards to sacrifice for the books and stuff like that. But I'm working on that right now. I just brought Radamantis to level 70 in under 3 days. But I'm currently going to work first on an Evil Saga level 80, because that's what I'm needing. So again, thank you all guys for watching. Subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below. You know I'm going to be answering, just if it's within my power, if I have had experience with a particular saint or the mechanic you have doubts. I will answer as soon as possible. Click on that little bell so you get a notification when I upload new material, and I promise you the next video is not going to be this long, but I just wanted to really go to town with that tier list, because it's not very good. So see you around, see you next time, and remember, keep grinding on. By the way, this floor just gave me I'm gonna tell you right now. This event gave me 176,000 experience points because that's the first time. But if I do a raid, and this is floor 42, if I do a raid, that's going to give me 131,000 experience points. So multiply that 5 times for a raid, that's 500,000, 650,000 experience if I raid the 5 times at this floor level. So multiply that for the whole week, and that's almost 4.5 million experience points. So if you want to farm faster, do your Athena trials every day without missing. See you around. See you next time. Keep grinding on.